The 8-year assault on your Second Amendment freedoms has come to a crashing end. I like taking the guns early. Take the guns first, go through due process second.
Well, I say go fuck yourself. Then ask a question, could I kill a man? I would enjoy myself. You can't disguise evil eyes that burn up my head. This devil man and his master plan. We feel so misled, so I say, rise up, take all back. Rise up, take it all back. Hope you all understand. We got to take it all back again.
These people are not going to take it any longer. We will never give up. We will never concede. Our country has had enough. We will not take it anymore. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. But go home and go home in peace. The demonstrators who infiltrated the Capitol have defiled the seat of American democracy. You do not represent our country. And to those who broke the law, you will pay.
Hey everybody, how you doing? Gerald B is in the house. What up, Gerald B? It's been a while. Seems like it's been forever. Seems like it's been longer than a week. But it's only been a week. And I know I did say that we were gonna do the Green Dragon, I think it was on Friday. I didn't do that, so I do apologize for that. Brenda and Gerald are here. That's cool. I did send out some text messages today to a few friends I hadn't talked to in a while. Hopefully some of them show up today, but if not, that's okay. I understand. It's what happens when you stop being as predictable as you were, right? When we were doing the evening catch-up 5 nights a week, I think I didn't miss many. And if I did, I let everybody know. Unfortunately, with YouTube being the way it is and all that, these kind of things, I just don't want to do the fight. But I do still care about y'all, and I still love doing these streams. So therefore, I said, you know what? Once a week, why not? We can do that. And the dragon, I really do need to start up the dragon. I know Gerald will be there. Absolutely. Almost guaranteed Gerald will be there unless he's busy. Unless you're busy, Gerald. I would imagine. I would like to get a couple other people on there too, though. Nothing against you, Gerald, but the dragon's supposed to be like a group thing, more than just two. So I'm thinking I'm going to try to set one up for this week again. And I'll contact all the dragon people and see if they're up for doing a dragon this week. I mean, there's a lot in the news. A lot in the news. And I haven't even really been paying that close of attention. I do know that a few things. I know Joe Rogan's in a heap of trouble because he wants to actually have an open discussion and hear both sides of an argument and doesn't really care if it's one side or the other. He just wants to have the conversation. And I really did appreciate his response to the whole fiasco with Spotify with, all this misinformation that we keep getting hit with. And I've gotten hit with quite a bit of misinformation. And don't think for even a second that misinformation is anything other than censorship. They're not calling it censorship because censorship, if you call it censorship, then people, have a little bit of a sick feeling in their stomach, Oh, I don't like calling it censorship. Kind of like global warming. And then you'd have a winter where everybody was cold as shit. And they're like, global warming my ass. I could use some global warming right now. So they stopped calling it global warming. They started calling it climate change. And that's exactly what misinformation or disinformation is now considered, in my opinion. It's just a nicer way of saying censorship. We don't like what you say. We don't want you to say it. So we're going to go out and we're going to censor you. That's exactly what that is. What else is in the news? We got the ATF going after the rare breed triggers and the wide open triggers, and I guess the wide open triggers had gotten cease and desist. Well, it had gotten a ruling against them for a brief moment, saying that they had at least paused their production, but now they're up and running again. So who knows? They give us the illusion of choice. Exactly. Illusion of choice. The illusion of not being censored. Right? What up, Love Face? How you doing? Online strips without clothing. How do you strip without clothes? See, I don't understand how you strip without clothes. You have to start with clothes in order to strip. That's just how that is. So, but I love the emojis and the enthusiasm. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it. Mods, you want to go ahead and deal with that, or do I need to?
I can only time them out. I can't ban.
All right. Well, I would definitely like to hear from Love Face on their version of how a naked girl can strip without clothing. All right. There you go. And there we go. Perfect. So, how you been doing, Gerald? What have you been up to? For me, I've been studying with Nugs or slash Riddle for the last week or so. I'm trying to get a position as a business system analyst, which I'd rather just say BSA, but a lot of people don't know what BSA means. I know I didn't for a long time, but I'm starting to learn it. And maybe something will come from that, maybe not. Then I'll even be busier than that. Other than that, I've been working on the stream over on Twitch as well. It's just easier, man. I can have my streaming over there and not have any worry about getting disbarred or displatformed because I'm not talking about the news. And that's a good thing to do nowadays. However, you shouldn't stop talking. And that's why I've decided that I want to at least do this once a week. And if I can get the dragon together with a few people, it might not be once a week. It might have to be once a month. I don't know. That one's still open. Other than that, just some basic stuff. We built a raised garden bed, right? It wasn't too hard to do. It just cost a lot of money because, you know, I wanted to get it done and I wanted it to be easy. I didn't want to have to dig post holes and I didn't want to have to dig a trench and all that stuff, right? I just wanted it to be somewhat easy. So we went and we got these blocks that you can put 2x4 or 2 by anything in, really, because it can fit a 2 by something. And so we got some 2x6 boards, and we got 8 of those concrete. I guess I don't know if they're concrete or brick or whatever they're made out of, but they're like a cinder block, but they're shaped differently so that you can slot in 2x6s in there to make a grow bed. And so that's what we did. It was not cheap. Actually, the dirt was the most expensive part of that because I didn't want to use the dirt here because, you know, it's sandy and clay and all that. And so we wanted to have a nice garden bed, so we bought the soil. I think we spent almost $400 on that. That was a lot of money. Hopefully we'll get a lot of good veggies out of it, and if we do move, if and when, we can take all that with us. Maybe the boards might not be good at that point. I don't know how long it takes they're treated, but I don't know how long a treated board will be usable. It depends, I guess. If we leave soon, it won't be a big deal at all, but I mean, if it's another couple years, then we might have to get some more 2x6s and some more dirt, but that ain't a big deal. That's what you do for fun. Aloha. Having fun trapping rats in the house. I used to shoot at rats with a BB gun. Parents didn't like that too much. Yeah, we do have a few things going well. Yeah, Nugs is referring to a raised bed that she has over at the garden center. It's a local, you know, if you live in a city, which we do, then you'll get these like community gardens. Well, this one, I don't know if they all cost money or not. This one does, but it's not much. I think it's like, what was it, Notes? It was like how much for a growing season?
$5 a month.
$5 a month? Yeah, it ain't too bad. Wow, we only get $20 a pickup truck load of compost. Cow poop. Yeah, I didn't do compost. We went and I got that potting soil mix from Home Depot. We went all out. That wouldn't have been bad. That wouldn't have been bad at all. In fact, I've done that before when we were living up in Ashfork. We had gotten a truckload of alpaca. I think it was alpaca. No. Was it? I don't know. Anyway, we gotten a load of that for free, I think. Really cheap.
It was free.
Yep, alpaca. So, and I do compost and all that, but it'll be fun. We got a few different things growing. One thing that I'm looking forward to that we've had a few setbacks already with is Peter peppers, red Peter peppers. And I never even heard of these peppers until we were over at my neighbor's house, Joyce, and she had a catalog of seeds, and you know we're looking through it because we like gardening. And all of a sudden I come across these red Peter peppers. I'm like, what the fuck is this? I gotta grow these because they look. When the reason why they call red Peter peppers, when they fully grown, they kind of look like a male genitalia, which I just have to grow a good plant of that at the garden center, and just ooh, is that peppers? Why do they all look like picnics? For me, it's just hilarious, and I want to make a Peter pepper salsa, which I'm gonna do. Yeah, you might have to order more. They're rare apparently, so they're not cheap seeds either. They're kind of expensive. I forget exactly how much, but I think it was like $50 for a pack.
It was $12 for 50 seeds.
$12 for 50 seeds. Thank you, Nugs. The stuff we have been getting is like 5 years now. Yeah, we planted a few Romas, I believe, that were like 5 years old and they still grew. So those people that are like, oh, you only use these seeds for the one season after you harvest the seeds. Bull crap. I have seeds 10, 15 years old. Yeah, not as many will grow, but they will still grow enough. Like if you plant them, you'll have a few that grow. So that's the whole reason why we have seed banks and vaults in the Arctic and shit. All right. So that's kind of been what's going on with me. I've been trying to be a better friend. And I have been a little bit more on Discord. I haven't been as much on my Discord as I should be, so I'm gonna be focusing on that. But that whole, usually if I have something to say on Discord, I'll put it on Discord. But I really need to get to the fact where I'm always posting at least something once a day on Discord. So I'm gonna do that. I gotta go through all the settings. I did just recently upgrade my computer a little bit, and I removed the old C drive because it kept getting full of stuff, and I've replaced it with a 2 terabyte C drive, so that now I shouldn't have that problem again. But when I did that, all my settings on OBS and everything else all went to shit. So I don't have nearly as many cool little things on the stream as I used to, but we're getting it there. So at least all the scenes work, or should work. And if you guys have any information or, on this, let me know in the chat, because I have really been enjoying not being plugged in to everything that's going on in the world. We all know where it's going, right? I'm preaching to the choir, but I like preaching to the choir sometimes. We all know where this is heading. When it'll pop off, who knows? But until then, as Mule put it, I think he said the what is it? Counting down the doomsday or some shit. Counting down the Armageddon. Or the live watch party of the end. Who knows? Censorship is a thing. They don't call it that anymore, but it's still the same thing. And only in communist countries do you find that if you don't agree with the narrative, that you can get in trouble, and they will silence you any way that they can. And you see that with Joe Rogan, you see that with YouTubers that you know, even me, and it's out of control. It really is. Truckers in Canada. Yeah, I saw that. Trudeau, or I can't ever say his name, Trudeau or whatever. Didn't he say that they were a small fringe group? It didn't look like a small fringe group, and the truckers are the last people you kind of want to piss off. I mean, most of the time they drive by themselves, not all the time. So there's no risk of them giving somebody else the cove or the coof, right? In my opinion, and it's just my opinion. It's not medical information at all, but it's my opinion, and that's the problem. You can't even have an opinion anymore. Look at Joe Rogan. He had a person on who had an opinion. Joe didn't say he agreed with that opinion or not, but he let him voice his opinion. You can't do that no more. You get in trouble for voicing your opinion nowadays in a free society where we have constitutionally protected freedom of speech. However, the government's not putting you in jail over it, but the government is contacting all these social media platforms and asking them to censor or get rid of medical misinformation or any kind of misinformation, or what do they call it? Misinformation, or I forget the other word I used. Anyway, cool. Let's do it. Hopefully everything is working. All my sounds. Because, as I said, I had to redo all my computer, and some things might not work, but hopefully they will. All right. This is from the Gun Owners of America. Let's see, 1 trillion guns have been registered. You guys hear about this that's been going around? I've watched a few videos on it. I'm not surprised, but they're basically digitizing all these forms and creating an actual database. I mean, they've been doing it for years. Absolutely doing it for years. It's just now verified. And where's the outrage? Well, unless you're pro-gun, you probably don't have outrage. If you're just, if you own a couple guns, and that's just, let's say you own a couple guns, but you're not hyper political, right? You have a couple guns, either passed down or you picked them up for personal protection just in case, maybe they're just in the house. But you're not watching the gun tubers. You're not paying attention to the GOA. You're not in the NRA even, or even in the GOA, right? You happen to have a couple firearms. You're not paying attention. You don't know this. And that's where it's scary. Only the people super plugged in know about this, and only them are raising hell. Is that going to be enough? Doubt it. Every time you fill out the DD4473 form, you know. Well, I've done it a few times. When I first got back into firearms back in, I think, 2010, 2011, I hadn't had a firearm since I was a kid before that. And so I bought in a few guns and did the background checks, and I passed them. I got a suppressor, right, legally. I got my tax stamp. I did everything you have to do in order to get that, so I'm on their books, fingerprints and all. And if they ever come here and want it back, they can have it. I ain't gonna fight them. I'll freely give it to them. I got into the suppressor knowing full well that someday they might decide that they don't want me to have it anymore, and they might take it away. We also got CRS Firearms got arrested, I saw, for the whole auto key card thing, which I thought was a really cool thing, and I talked about on my channel a little bit back in the day. Hopefully that won't turn around and bite me in the ass, but it might. You know, because these products come out, perfectly legal products as far as I'm aware when I buy these things, and I haven't bought everything that's in the news, but you know, I used to own bump stocks, and when I bought those bump stocks, I bought them legally from a store. ATF had a letter. In fact, I still think I don't even know where, but I somewhere have my ATF letter of approval for the bump stock back in the day. But they're changing their mind. Oh yeah, it's great, it's great. Never mind, we changed our mind. That legal thing that you bought is now illegal, and we're gonna need you to destroy it without any compensation. Oh, you spent $1,000 on a few of them? Nah, that's on you. Yeah, they were legal. Now they're not. They're also trying to get rid of 3D printing too. Oh, aren't they redefining the receivers because the loophole between upper and lower on an AR-15? I think they're visiting that. What's up, Elise Group 2? How are you doing? Thank you very much for putting your link in my chat. I don't know what I would do without you, but we'll find out. Thank you. Well, YouTube did take down the videos for you. Most of them. Yep. I think there is a bump stock video still on YouTube. I'm not exactly sure of mine. It might be the unboxing of it. But there was a few, because I didn't have a bump stock. It wasn't... Bump stock was like a brand. Everybody eventually called it a bump stock, kind of like Xerox copying. That's an actual brand. It's not what you're doing. It's the brand. Everybody uses the name, though, as what you're doing because everybody knows it. And it's the same kind of thing with bump stock. The one I had was the bump ski. So it actually went around YouTube's algorithm for a little while, and then eventually got busted, I think, and took down. So that's fine. I mean, they were fun. I enjoyed them. I think I would have enjoyed the rare breed or the wide open trigger a lot more if I could have ever gotten one to work, and that's why I really don't. I envy those who got it to work. It must have been fun. I had seen them work in person. I got to use one that worked, and it was really cool. Could never get mine to work, so had to get rid of it because it's just, it doesn't work. It's a single shot. I mean, you got to love your single shot, you know. Well, now classified by the ATF, whatever it's classified as. All right. So this is from the Gun Owners of America about the Gun Registry. We'll listen to it a little bit.
Hey guys, it's Phil with GOA, and I'm following up on this morning's breaking news. Adam Credo with the Washington Free Beacon has a great article on the Congressman Michael Cloud ATF situation that we've been working on and telling you about. That article is going to be linked below. According to the article and a letter that Congressman Cloud got from the ATF has collected nearly 1 billion records on firearm transactions, which date all the way back to the enactment of the Gun Control Act of 1968. Back in November, I told you that Congressman Cloud of Texas, with the help of GOA, led the charge to keep the Biden administration from illegally and permanently storing records of firearms purchases in a centralized database. Now,
Well, it's supposed to be illegal. And a lot of people are like, well, they can't do that because it's illegal. So is spying on American people. But the NSA had been doing it years before they ever got caught, and they're probably still doing it. You think they're just going to not do that anymore? They just figure out a different way to do it without you knowing. It's a shell game, if you get the reference.
Now, the ATF has responded to Congressman Cloud's demand for answers on what exactly they're doing with those records. Current federal regulation says that an FFL needs to keep the last 20 years of firearm transaction records and to turn in all of those records for the last 20 years when they go out of business. The reason for this regulation is to ensure that the federal government complies with existing law
2001.
restricting the creation of a
20
federal
years
gun
ago.
registry. And even with this
2022,
regulation, they're still managing to create a type of registry. This is why GOA is no compromise. But when he asked how many records they have, the ATF responded to Cloud that they have nearly 1 billion records with them. They estimate that over 850 million of those records are in a digitized form, with the rest being on hard copies. In other words, almost 90% of the records that the ATF has collected are digitized and therefore easier to search.
90%.
In effect, it's a partially complete national database of guns and gun owners. In the letter,
It's a
the
partially
ATF tells the
complete that
congressman
you know about.
in total, ATF manages 920,664,765 out-of-business records as of November 2021. This includes digital and an estimated number of hard copy records that are awaiting image conversion. It is currently estimated that 865,787,086 of those records are in digitized format. And the ATF justifies this massive national database with the following. The vast majority of the criminal firearms traces completed by the ATF are done for state and local law enforcement agencies across the country pursuant to active law enforcement investigations. Now, there's an obvious follow-up question here, and we're going to get to that in a little bit, but I thought this next line was them basically admitting the entire program is a waste. The National Tracing Center, the ATF, has no ability to determine the successful prosecution of hundreds of thousands of crime gun traces it completes annually. So
What up,
basically,
mule?
they're arguing that they need
No, I
this
ain't
giant
surprised.
database to help local law enforcement solve crimes, and yet they don't know if it's successful in helping those local law enforcement agencies. Could you even get away with something like that?
They don't even have to worry about that. How many times I've seen cops actually talking about this, and they never had a problem getting records from the ATF, from a background check or whatever. At this point, though, my biggest thing is maybe it's time for all those guns that you bought legally. Well, I've bought all my firearms legally, so let's reword that. Maybe it's time for all the guns that you filled out a background check for you to sell them. If you can, legally, obviously, in your state. Now, do with what that information is you will. I mean, that's just my opinion, but it's a thought I've been thinking. Like, let's see, if I get all the firearms that I've done a background check on and, filled out all my information for, and I just sold it. Here in Arizona, technically right now, still legally, I can go ahead and sell a firearm to an individual of this state without having to do a background check on it. So why not? Sell the ones that I've done the background checks on and either build new versions or find somebody selling something similar. So there you go. I'm glad to see you here, Mule, though, for sure. Gerald has got his clones in the ground or under grow lights. That's cool. The only time I ever tried to root anything like a clone was a tomato plant. Didn't work. So I kind of gave up. That was years ago. I really need to do it again. I have been looking into getting into growing, as you know. I still haven't done it. I'm still a little... I wish I had a little bit better setup or room for it because I can't do it outside. It'd have to be inside. And I also found out that I might not even be able to legally in Arizona, because even though it's recreational use now, Arizona, I guess they don't want to lose out on tax revenue, so only people with medical cards can legally grow it at home. As far as I'm aware, I need to look into it a little bit more. But I thought that was bullshit when I heard the rumor on that. Mule, I do want to start up the dragon once in a while. I think once a week might be too much for our OGs. I don't know. Like, I'd like to get, you know, a decent amount of people in there. You know, usually if I'm doing it every single week, like I had been doing it, it's almost after a while people get like, whatever. It's just I can miss this one, right? And then it's just the Stinger and Gerald show, which I have no problem hanging out with Gerald, but I'd like to see the Dragon go a little bit, have a little bit more of a panel. Couldn't put one in the ground now without a jacket. I bet. It's got to be cold. Okay, quick question. What's the temp in your area right now? Everybody, not just Gerald. Right now, currently here, it is 53 degrees. It's supposed to freeze, though, I think, tonight, and we had to cover our plants outside. This story here was given to me by the USMC vet of the Irish kind, of the Irish persuasion. But I'm thinking about putting a dragon together this Friday. I'm thinking Fridays are good. 16 degrees, holy shit. I'm thinking about this Friday for a dragon. It seems like a good one. We've gotten a lot of news this week, and so it might be a good one. So plan on a dragon this Friday, about the same time as I started this, which was about 28 minutes ago. So whatever 28 minutes ago was where, whatever time that was where you're at, that's what time we'll be on Friday. It was 9 yesterday morning. -9? Oh, shit. That's cold. This is the time of year I really enjoy being in Arizona. All right, let's see if we can not get in trouble for talking about this. Horowitz, whistleblowers share DoD medical data that blows the safety debate wide open. Ooh, this is from The Blaze. Data transparency and surveillance. This is what's been missing from the greatest experiment on humans of all time. Yeah. I mean, they did it in the 40s in Germany, so why can't they do it in America in the 2020s? The pro-pharma politicians and media claim the CDC's pharmaceutical alliance tool, VAERS, is not good enough to trigger investigations into the shots because anyone can supposedly submit an adverse event entry. Thus, all the concerning safety signals from VAERS are being ignored, even though that the system was put in place as a consultation to the public for absolving manufacturers of liability. Well, now some military whistleblowers are coming forward. Military. To present data that, if verified, would signal extremely disturbing safety concerns about things that make the VAERS data look like child's play. On Monday, during Senator Ron Johnson's 5-hour hearing, Ohio attorney Thomas Renz, who also had been representing clients suing these manufacturers, presented DoD medical billing data from the Defense Medical Epidemiology Database, or DMED, that paints a shockingly disturbing picture of the health of our service members in 2021. Well, they don't really go into it too much, do they? But thank you very much, Irish, for providing me the link. We do also have one from Nugs, or aka Riddle Girl, from the Discord, so I will get to that next. It's warming up. It's going to be in the low mid-30s. Wow. T-shirt. You can go sleeveless and have some flip-flops outside. Yikes. Not a fan of negative temp. No. The first winter in Wisconsin was rough. I was close to my heaviest. I was on my way up in weight. I hadn't reached my peak yet, but I was, 475, 480. I was a big dude, and I smoked. And I moved to Wisconsin from Arizona, enjoying 60 fucking degrees out during the winter. Moved to Wisconsin, I believe it was like April or May, right? It was right in spring. And so I had a good amount of time to be enjoying the weather of Wisconsin. Like, oh yeah, it's humid, but at least it's not like 120. As a fat guy, heat sucks. Humidity's worse because you sweat out of places that you shouldn't. But it wasn't until winter, and then you have to go outside to smoke. I was at a job where you had to go outside to smoke. And I almost quit smoking right then and there because the first time I went outside to smoke in minus 15 degrees, felt like somebody was stabbing me in the chest with a knife. I was like, this ain't worth it. What up, Bikes and Bullets? How you doing? Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. So, the Army is to immediately discharge any soldier who hasn't decided to get the shot. I don't know why they didn't decide. I mean, everybody's getting it. It's great. The Army said Wednesday that it will immediately begin discharging soldiers who have refused to get the mandatory shot, putting more than 3,300 service members at risk of being thrown out soon. I want to know if they're going to get a dishonorable discharge or less than honorable discharge because of it. Army's announcement makes it the final military service to lay out its discharge policy for the refusers. The Marine Corps, the Air Force, the Navy have already discharged active duty troops or entry-level personnel at boot camps for refusing to get the shot. Wow. So far the Army hasn't done it, but they're going to, apparently. According to the data released by the Army last week, more than 3,300 soldiers have refused to get it. The Army has said that more than 3,000 soldiers have been issued official written reprimands, which suggests that they are already identified in the disciplinary process, and some of them could be among the first to be discharged. Pentagon has ordered all service members, active duty, National Guard, and reserves to get it, saying it is critical to maintain the health and readiness of the force. Cases continue to surge around the country as a result of the Omicron variant. And here's where I get back to the whole Joe Rogan thing. Joe Rogan's getting in trouble for asking questions or allowing people to have opinions on his show. But basically questions, right? So looking at this, they're going to... I forgot where I was going with that. You can't even ask questions anymore. Let's see. Oh, the reason I was going to say that. They don't get the shot. What does the shot do? That's what the question is that I want to ask, and be free to ask it on YouTube. I already have my opinion on the answer. I'm not going to voice it, but I have my opinion on the answer. But I originally, the vaccine was going to help prevent people from getting sick, like a normal vaccine would, right? You don't want smallpox? Get the smallpox vaccine. You won't get it. That's how it was. But now it's not anymore. Now it's not technically a way to not get it, right? They even say that. I've talked to people about this who have gotten the shot, and I said, well, I had a friend who got 3 of them and still got it, like multiple times, and they were all quick with their talking points that they had heard from multiple sources, right? No. It doesn't prevent it. This is what they said. It doesn't prevent it. It only lessens the symptoms so that you're more likely to survive it. Okay. If that's the case, and I believe that is the case because I've seen other news organizations that are still up on YouTube. If I had said that back in the day, if I had said that if you get the shot, you could still get it, you could still get sick, I would have been taken off of YouTube immediately. However, nowadays, that's okay, because now that's known. By getting the shot, it will not prevent you from getting it. However, according to the data, that they provide, it'll lessen the symptoms and make it a lot more likely to survive it. That is not a vaccine. That's a treatment. Words matter. Look up Guns Coast. I was here last week too. I don't think I texted you on that one though. The answer is no. They will receive honorable discharges. That's good. That was established in the NDAA fiscal 2022. Reprimands not honorable, I'm guessing. And then, oh really? Yeah, it is good to know that they're not going to get dishonorable. Yeah, that's why I think it's mislabeled. This is according to Section 716 of the NDAA 2022 is prohibition on separating armed forces personnel and giving the personnel bad conduct discharge. Cool. Well, that's a little bit of good news out of a bad situation. But, you know, with these kind of things, you're not even allowed to ask questions. What kind of free society doesn't allow you to ask questions? Oh, they don't, and I touched on it earlier. They don't call it censorship anymore because censorship leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Right? No, we're going to call it, just like global warming is now climate change, we're going to call it misinformation. We don't want any misinformation out there. We don't want you to listen to some random dude on the internet and then all of a sudden, you know what? I was thinking about getting it. My doctor thought it was good for me and all, but this guy on the internet says it might not do what it says it's going to do, so I'm not getting it now. What kind of world is that? Who in their right mind has ever taking medical advice from somebody on the internet, especially one that has told you multiple times that they're not a doctor? Obviously, I'm not a doctor. You should not take medical advice from somebody like myself. However, having a discussion in a free society where we have the First Amendment of freedom of speech should be allowed. Unfortunately, the speech that's free is not the speech they want people to hear. Critical thinking? We don't want that. We want talking points. That's all we want. Doesn't even matter if it's Fox talking points, just as long as you have talking points from some sort of trusted news site. They changed the wording of what a vax is now. Apparently, they changed the wording of that bioweapon is too. Yeah. I have no idea what you're talking about. What bioweapon are you talking about? No clue. Let's see. Roughly 97% of all Army soldiers have gotten at least one shot. More than 3,000 have requested medical or religious exemptions. Army Secretary Wormuth issued a directive on Wednesday ordering commanders to begin involuntary separation proceedings against those who have refused this shot and do not have a pending or approved exemption. So if you don't get the shot, are you putting people who did get the shot at risk? And why? We've already found out that the shot doesn't prevent you from getting it. It just makes the symptoms less. Because people that get the shot have still gotten sick. You can't debate it because it's happening on a daily basis. So they can't deny that. They had to allow that in. If I had said that a few months ago, I would have been deplatformed. It already happened, but it would have been faster. Now, fucking knowledge. Anyway. Order includes active duty soldiers, reserves, serving on active duty, and cadets in the military academy. The detailed order says soldiers will be discharged for misconduct and noted that those who are eligible to retire may do so before July 1. Overall, nearly 600 Marines, airmen, and sailors have been thrown out of the military or dismissed from entry-level training at boot camps as of last week. Military service has also been going through a methodical process to deal with those who refused its shot, as well as those who request medical, administrative, or religious exemptions. Their reviews require counseling with medical personnel and chaplains, as well as senior commanders. Religious exemptions. Well, hopefully they know the words to use. Function, euphemisms are great. Gain of function. Yeah. Those are dangerous thoughts. Yeah, I haven't been on YouTube very much either. I kind of, when I texted Guns, And I know he's been making videos too, because I'd seen him pop up, and I was like, I'll watch it later. I never got around to it, so I do apologize for being absent. I will try to be less absent. But Guns Coast to Coast, man, you put out good content. I need to catch up. Hershey's harassed the unshotted employees and then fires them. Wow. Hershey Company tried to manipulate its unshotted employees into receiving the shot, denying their religious accommodation request, and has now begun to fire them. The candy company asked terminated employees to sign a 9-page non-disclosure agreement in exchange for severance pay. If the former employees sign the agreement, then they get a few months of pay but cannot discuss their employment or sue Hershey for medical or religious discrimination. There ain't no way in hell. Personally, if I work for Hershey, this is just me. If I work for Hershey, there ain't no way I'm taking that severance package. It'd have to be a shit ton of money. A shit ton. If they refuse to sign, they will not get the money, but legal options will remain open to them. Kim Durham, who enjoyed her job at Hershey as a payment analyst and sourcing buyer, said she applied for religious accommodation in August and did not expect the company to fight it. I really thought I'd be okay, she said. You can't question my faith. Nobody can question that. Between then and now, Hershey Human Resources Department has forced employees to listen to vaccine education. What? Wait. They had to listen to vaccine education to answer personal questions about their beliefs and to reconsider receiving the experimental injections. I thought this was behind me until September when I met with an HR representative. It was an interrogation on your religious beliefs. They twisted your words and tried to put words in your mouth. It was terrible. She said the question had nothing to do with religion, despite her request for a religious exemption. Hershey's HR team asked Durham and other employees about medical status, including other vaccinations, about their children's medical status, and about other medications they take. I wouldn't answer a damn thing personally, right? What's my medical information ain't none of your business. I would have fought that tooth and nail all the way. They tried to guilt the unshotted employees into getting the injections by stating that the Roman Catholic Pope had taken them and had encouraged other Christians to do so as a charitable act. Well, I don't follow the Pope. Luckily, I'm not Catholic. I just have a problem putting other human cells into my body. I don't think that's right. I don't think that you should live. Let's say it does. Let's say it does exactly what they say it does. Well, what they say it does today, which is lessen the symptoms, making it more likely to be survivable. Okay, if it lessens my symptoms to make it more survivable, but it doesn't stop me from getting it, then me not getting it affects you how? How does it affect you? You got your shot, great. You're still technically able to get it. And even if I got my shot, you could still get it from me because I can still get it. Because it doesn't take away the chance of getting it, it just lessens the symptoms. These are questions that I think should be asked. The Canadian president has a COVID again. He's fully shot and boosted. Yeah. It was probably one of those people that, was in his cabinet that didn't get it. Which would be surprising. They hold it. And who's around Trudeau? That's how you pronounce it. Who's around him that doesn't have the shot? Wasn't it Joe Biden saying that this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated? Isn't that what he said? Saying that basically the unvaccinated were getting the vaccinated sick? Well, I'm sure Trudeau isn't really around a whole bunch of people who aren't. I would imagine. Maybe one of them are around somebody who isn't, and they got it from them, and it just went down the road. But it still passed from one person who had gotten all their shots to another person who had gotten all their shots. Do they hold these interviews under a bright light bulb with a Luger? You want to get the shot now? Yeah. One employee who asked remained anonymous until his or her termination said the company asked about his or her baby's vaccination status. Really? This is, it's one thing if you decide that it's best for you, right? If you decided that it's best for you and your doctor said it's good and you bought into that and that all that, fine. Do it. Do what you think is best, what you and your doctor have decided on. But bringing your children into it, baby is, but Hershey denied Durham's request late last November. We'll go back to that. What does that have to do with me keeping my job? The employee said with the baby question. From the time we started this ordeal, we have had 7 meetings about my status, the employee said. It was like harassment. I felt like I wanted to crawl under the rock when I was done. I don't envy you guys. Have you guys had to deal with any of that shit out in the real world? We've had to deal with it a little bit in Nugs' profession. Not too bad. Luckily, I think it's over now. For now, I think it's over. But they were trying to get her status, and she didn't want to give it. That's medical information. She doesn't think that she's necessary to reveal to a company because that's personal. She fought it, and we believe it's over. So, should all be good. But, yeah. It's a control issue. They want to make sure the servants are still under their control. It's part of it. I think there's a lot of theories. Some are conspiracy theories. Some are decent theories. What is it? Why is it that they want everybody to get this shot? If they had it their way, everybody would get it. And it'd be done, right? Oh, if everybody would just get their shot, we could put this behind us. We could get back to normal. That carrot that they like to dangle in front of your face. Our HR doesn't really care. They're doing the minimum. Awesome. Glad to hear it. More nations ease these restrictions and seek to reclaim normal lives. Imagine a lot of people are ready for that. I'm going to just zoom in on this a little bit. There we go. That's good. Late last night, disco partying, elbow to elbow, seating in movie theaters, mask-free, barring on faces in public. Bit by bit, many countries that have been hard hit by the sniffles are opening up and easing their tough and often unpopular restrictive measures aimed to fight the disease, even as the Omicron variant, deems less severe, has caused cases to skyrocket. Well, the thing is, correct me if I'm wrong, Guns would know more about this than I would, but as far as I'm aware, when something starts out like a virus that will kill you, and I'm not going to use this as an example, but just anything, right? When it first starts out and it's deadly, the more it mutates, the more likely you are to catch it, but the less severe it's going to be. I think the flu is kind of like that. Wasn't it the flu was supposedly a pandemic that just never went away and just became like our normal flu now? I could be wrong. The early moves to relax such restrictions invoke a new turning point in a nearly 2-year pandemic that has been full of them. The Geneva-based WHO says Omicron has fueled 90 million cases in the world over the last 10 weeks, more than during all of 2020 and the outbreak's first full year. It's funny, I haven't gotten sick yet. Not once. I have definitely not been observing all the World Health Organization's recommendations on what I should do. Let's just put it that way. I have not. And I don't know what it is, but I haven't got it. The WHO acknowledges some countries can judiciously consider easing the rules if they boast a high immunity rate, strong healthcare systems, and favorable epidemiological curves. I'm just going to say it as fast as I can. Omicron is less likely to cause severe illness than previous Delta variant. According to the studies, Omicron spreads even more easy than other strains and has already become dominant in many countries. It is also more easily infects those who have gotten the shot or had previously been infected prior versions of the shot or the virus. So the Omicron affects those who have gotten the shot more than those who didn't? Is that what that says? But in doing so, it may also help to build greater natural immunity to the more deadly strains of the virus, potentially ushering a permanent end to it as a likely lab-engineered disease continues its evolution. Nonetheless, the overly cautious UN Health Agency, ever leery about how a virus still spreading widely might evolve, warned about underestimating Omicron. Yeah. Oh, here's something about Trudeau. Let's see, where is it? Trudeau is among the many globalist health officials who have clung to the inordinate amount of power during the pandemic, despite his close ties to China, which is most directly responsible for the likely creation. Oh, are we still back? Are we back on that where it's might be likely? I thought we put this to bed. Can we not agree that China went ahead and had a lab leak? This cat is snoring. It's hilarious. What up, Tactical Tone? How you doing, bruh? I hope all is well with you. Living free out there in the Ozarks. Damn. I actually, depending on the video that you put out, sometimes I won't watch it. Just saying. It hurts too much. Like, man, I need it. I want it. I'm so happy for you though, dude. For real. And I need to be on YouTube more often. Alabama Democrat refusing to meet with any of her constituents who haven't gotten the jab. I believe she's in Georgia. No, Alabama. Alabama, Terry Sewell. She's refusing to meet with unshotted constituents, has been ordered members of her staff to require proof of their status for all in-person meetings. You want to talk to her? You better bring your papers. Papers, please. Proof of shots are required for every in-person or every in-office meeting with the congresswoman or staff. A disclaimer on an email sent out by Swalwell's office. I would find it hilarious if she still gets sick. You know what I mean? State Department confirms Hunter Biden's corrupt undercut Ukraine efforts. Is anything going to happen? You guys know about this? I haven't really been keeping up on it. That's the general pathway in. Let's see. Let's just read this. Ukraine's heard one message from us and then saw another set of behavior with the Biden family, associating with a known corrupt figure. George Kent, former embassy official in Ukraine, admitted in a 2016 email that Hunter Biden's crooked financial transactions with companies like Burisma undercut America's efforts to fight corruption in the nation. The real issue, to my mind, was that someone in Washington needed to engage Vice President Biden quietly and say that his son Hunter's presence on the Burisma board undercut the anti-corruption message the Vice President and we are advancing in Ukraine. Kent told top-ranking State Department officials in the email. No, we just don't want the corruption to be in your government. We want to take over. We want to take over your corruption, please. Despite it's like a one gang taking out another gang in order to take their turf, or absorbing them into their gang. You'll still be our gang, but you'll be a different chapter. So you'll have your gang name still, so you can keep all your colors. You can keep your name. You can still keep your tags. Everything's the same, but you got to give us a cut now, okay? Using a little reverse psychology, people should refuse to meet with Swalwell without her oath of office document. That's a good one. I don't think she would do it, but it'd be fun to ask her on a press, briefing. Despite Kent's firsthand knowledge that Hunter had corrupt dealings in the Ukraine, he blamed Trump for daring to demand an investigation into Biden's dealings. Kent also knew that Burisma officials paid $7 million to get the investigation of the company dropped. Hunter, who made $3 million from Burisma, sat on the board when the officials paid it. Ukraine's heard one message from us, Kent wrote, and then saw another set with the Biden family, with a known corrupt figure whose company was known for not playing by the rules in oil and gas. Former Ambassador Yovanovitch, who Trump fired after she testified against him in the impeachment hearing, had Kent's email marked classified and did not mention it during the inquiry. Yovanovitch was held key evidence that justified Trump's request for an investigation into the Biden's family, yet she likely will not face prosecution. Obviously not. We got to protect those who help us not go to jail ourselves. The State Department further ignored the email's existence when Just the News filed several Freedom of Information Act lawsuits that sought information about Joe and Hunter's Ukraine dealings. State Department's failure to produce the email violated federal law. A previously released State Department memo also showed that American diplomats warned Biden that Burisma was corrupt in 2015. That's probably why he went. Oh, it is? Oh, cool. Maybe we can do something there. Maybe. Biden's administration knew it was unprepared for Afghanistan. We kind of knew that already. Let's see. I did want to touch on this one. I haven't read it. But 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in December. Question is why? Over 4.3 million Americans quit their jobs in the last month of December, falling just shy of an American record. Previous record was also the previous month. In November of 2021, 4.5 million Americans quit their jobs. Though the mainstream media has chosen to remain silent on the matter, the simple fact that, and that's what I was wondering about that headline. I was like, is this related to this or not? It is. Have forced millions out of the labor market. 4.5 million Americans. Further, with schools continuing to shut down during the Omicron variant, millions of parents have been forced to reevaluate their working situations. The pileup of crises have caused establishment Democrats to panic as their far-left comrades continue their COVID fear-mongering. You'll see I do think there will be a red. Is it red for Republicans? I think it is. I do think Republicans will probably win a lot of seats. Does it matter? I don't think so. But it'll probably be a lot to do with this because there is a lot of people who are losing their jobs right now, and a lot of those people vote or will vote now. Maybe they didn't vote before. Who knows? Due to the labor shortage, wages have increased, and companies are increasingly offering signing bonuses for new employees. This news is just another indication that President Biden's sputtering economy that he caused by promoting lockdowns and increasing tedious regulation in the name of building back better. His policies have also created a near-record inflation, which has crippled the purchasing power of middle and lower class while benefiting Jen Psaki and her friends. Yeah. Have you gone to the store recently? My goodness. Things are expensive. My goodness. And some things that haven't gone up in price you can't even find. Newly released economic data revealed a massive spike in first-time unemployment claims this month. The Department of Labor reported that at the time that for the week ending January 15th, a total of 286,000 Americans filed first-time unemployment claims, an increase from 55,000 from the previous week. Disappointing news continues to emerge from the job creation front as well. In the month of December, a mere 199,000 were added. Really, I would have thought there would have been more jobs available now than before because everybody's quitting, right? Now's the time to get into, working, right? You can get a great job. You don't even need to be that knowledgeable on the thing. Shit, I'm actually in the running for a business system analyst position, and I can barely say the damn thing, let alone know exactly what it is. I'm learning what it is. Maybe I get it, maybe I don't, but they're entertaining it. That's how bad it is right now. $80,000 to start, are you kidding me? Trump slams Lindsey Graham for opposing pardons of January 6th protesters. Just a little while ago, I'd seen Lindsey Graham on Fox News saying that, who was it? Like the minority leader, is it McConnell? That he needs to get along with Trump because Trump is the Republican Party and might or probably will run in 2024, and he should be prepared for that and should make nice. And already, I guess, Trump and Lindsey are going at it again. Former President Trump slammed Senator Graham as a rhino again after the senator claimed it would be inappropriate to pardon the protesters on January 6th. Lindsey Graham's wrong. I mean, Lindsey Graham's a nice guy, but he's a rhino. Lindsey's wrong, Trump told Newsmax this week. Graham doesn't know what the hell he's talking about if he said that. Oh, I guess he did an interview. During the rally last weekend, yeah, Trump is doing rallies again a lot lately, too, so I'm guessing he's going to probably run. Trump pledged to pardon the people who had been charged with their role of January 6th if he was reelected. If I run and I win, we will treat those people from January 6th fairly, Trump told the crowd. Doesn't mean he's going to let them loose. It means they're going to finally get a fucking trial. Maybe they'll at least get a bail. We will treat them fairly, and if it requires pardons, we will give them pardons because they are being treated so unfairly. When asked what about Trump's promise, Graham dismissed it as irresponsible. No, I don't want to send any signal that it was okay to defile the Capitol, he told CBS News. I think it's inappropriate. I don't want to do anything that would make this more likely in the future. So, because they got scared. They fucking got scared. And I don't have that shirt, but I want to get that shirt, and it's the truest statement you've ever heard. When the government fears the people, you have freedom. And when the people fear the government, that's when you have tyranny. And you have people fearing the government. You have people fearing to say what they want on YouTube. You have people fearing what they say on Facebook. You have people fearing what they say on Twitter. You don't have freedom. It's an illusion. It's been an illusion probably since before me. But it is now so obvious to anybody who can think with a critical brain. And some people know and don't do anything. And some people do stuff and then they get punished. And some people are just like, you know what? I'm just going to get along to be along. I'm in one of those camps, maybe multiple. I don't know. For us to remain a nation of laws, not men, we must speak with one voice when it comes to politically motivated violence. A nation of laws, not men. Pretty sure the beginning of the Constitution says, we the people. Or, I guess Declaration of Independence. We the people. We the people. It doesn't say we're a nation of laws. It's about the individual. It's about the individual right. It's about the government works for us. You're my employee. Okay? You do what I say to do. And right now we have all these politicians preaching climate change, preaching your vaccination status, preaching all this stuff, right? Gun control, all these things. Yet you go to the American people and that's not what they're talking about. They're talking about inflation. They're talking about their jobs. They're talking about every time they have to fill up the tank of gas. That's what they give a fuck about. Or even immigration, especially in border states. That's a big deal for a lot of them. Is that going anywhere in Congress? No, it's not, because they don't want to deal with that. That would be doing what the people want to do, like what they've been hired to do. So no longer does your vote even matter, because used to be you would vote in the person who was going to do the job you wanted to do. If they didn't do it, you voted them out and get somebody up. Can't really do that now. They're all. All right, guys, I'm a little bit past. Riddle has to go out to the store anyway, so I'm going to get off of here. Thank you so much for everybody who joined us. See you later, Nut. We will stick around for a little bit and just chit chat if you want. Night Guns. Thank you very much for being here, dude. I know you're a busy dude. Seeing that you're getting some new stuff, I definitely got to check out your videos. But it's gonna make me like, oh, I wish I had something. And I'm broke as all hell. I just upgraded my PC a little bit, and that cost a lot of money. And then we also have, we're trying to get our credit back in order. So we're paying a lot of debt that we hadn't been paying for a long time. So money's tight, but hopefully it'll get us a piece of land eventually, maybe. If the world as we know it is still the way we know it by the time I'm ready to do that. All right, so we will be back next Wednesday. All right, I do these on Wednesdays now. I'll also be on Friday for a Green Dragon Tavern chat. Guns, you're more than welcome to show up. Bikes, you're more than welcome to show up. Tony, you know you're more than welcome to show up. And obviously, I want Mule Team to be there. And Gerald, you're more than welcome to show up too. Because I like talking to every single one of you on the panel. And I've talked to pretty much everybody in the audience in a panel at one time or another. It would be great to get a whole panel together. I'd love to know more about Guns' opinion on this. Guns is a very smart person, man. If you're not subscribed to Guns Coast to Coast, I would definitely do it. You get a lot of good information over there, and stuff that'll make you think, right? Don't be so locked down into the way you think that you're closed off to other people's opinions. That's what's supposed to happen. That's what it was when I was a kid, at least. You could talk politics with other people that weren't of your political leaning, right? You could talk to a Democrat. You wouldn't agree with him. You might think he's an idiot. But at the end of the day, you came away knowing a little bit more about where he comes from, and maybe he did as well on you, right? And if that's the case, that's great. That's open discussion. That's critical thinking. That's not bringing out talking points from CNN. Nowadays, if I argue with somebody over the whole shot, I've got to argue with CNN. So what am I supposed to do? Bring Fox talking points to it? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just basically straight up ask, well, does it prevent you from getting it? No, it don't. Then what does it matter if I get it or not, if you're still going to get it whether I get it or not, if you've already gotten your shot? What's the point? Why do you care? It's a great question. What up, Broken Patriot? How you doing? I did see your video recently on I think it was a tutorial on how to separate your chat window for a second screen. Congratulations on getting another monitor. That's cool. I will tell you right now, that's a very known thing how to do. You might not have known how to do it yourself, because there's a few things that are pretty easy knowledge for people to know, and I'm like, I don't know it, and then I find out, oh, that's so awesome. But that is I doubt there's very many videos on that topic, because it is kind of well known. But it's great to see that you're still doing videos. How you been doing on your YouTube channel? You still getting in trouble? I would imagine so. There was a time I didn't see anything from you, so I'm guessing you had another strike on there. I'll tell you though, once you get to 2 strikes, they won't give you a 3rd strike right away. They'll give you strikes. You'll still be out for 2 weeks, but it'll still count it as 2 or whatever. They won't delete your channel, but after, I think I've gotten 3 or 4 extra strikes past strike 2, but it still said strike 2 until they finally are like, yeah, we deleted your channel. I've known how to do it for a while, but get asked. Oh, okay, cool. Well, there you go. That's a great, yeah, especially if you're getting asked, right? Might as well. Definitely. For sure. Right on. We also got Nugs' computer finally put together. It's actually on the other side. It used to be here. It's now here, but it's actually done now. She can use it, and it's a powerhouse. That thing is better than my PC minus the graphics card, because that has the 1080 Ti in it that I had for a long time, and I just recently upgraded my graphics card, so I was pretty happy about that. Got 2 strikes on the main channel, 1 on the second. Be careful. Be careful. If you are now on their list. Okay? Before I got put on their list, I never got strikes. But once I started to get strikes, I got them all the time. They put you, once you've lost a strike or 2 on misinformation or whatever they're putting out there right now, they put you on a list and they watch you like a fucking hawk. So if you want to keep your channel, my advice would be to either tone it way the fuck down or prepare for the inevitable. But by doing that, just understand that when they delete your channel, there goes all your subs. All of them. You start over. And you're not even technically supposed to start another channel. Once you have been booted, technically, they don't want you on the platform at all. So you've got a 3rd channel. Well, you can have as many. Dude, when I first was doing that, I made, I think, 14 channels just so that I could go through each day with a different channel. And then after I did all that work, it's like, really? Is this where I'm at right now? That I'm going to do a different channel every damn time, up to 14 channels? I love talking to everybody here. Absolutely. You guys are some of the best YouTube friends I have, right? But at the same time, do I want to fight like that? Do I want to constantly having to be telling you guys where I'm at, never getting any kind of new viewers, right? My channel will not grow organically anymore. It's been neutered to the point where it cannot grow organically. The only people that come that aren't usually here are the bots who are putting in their little porno fucking links or whatever. Those are the only new people I get over here. So I would definitely, and it's just my opinion, Broken Patriot, but if I had to do it over again, I would tone it down for a while until all those strikes clear. Either, I don't know what you got the strike for, but usually what I'd get a strike for is medical misinformation. So I'm guessing it's probably the same thing. Just stop talking about COVID for a while. Just do other shit. Don't even worry about COVID. Pretend it doesn't even exist, and never speak of it. At least not until you get some of those strikes off your channel, if you care about that kind of thing. Anyway, that's it for me. I'm out of here. Thank you very much for joining. Make sure you're back here next Wednesday at the same time, 7 o'clock Mountain Standard Time, Arizona time, which is about, well, it's 8:12 now. So it was about an hour and 12 minutes ago, according to your local watch. I had a guy from Brazil in my chat last night, no bots. Wow, that's kind of cool. I'm glad your channel's still working. First, they're going to demonetize your channel. So any money that you were making will be gone. You're probably already running into the yellow demonetization where it says, oh, you're still getting money. It's just limited ads. No, you're not getting any money. Anytime you see that yellow dollar sign, you're not making a penny off of that video. All right? You have to have that green dollar sign in order to make any money off of it. So they'll demonetize you first if they haven't already. And then they're going to delete your entire channel. Be careful. What's going to happen when they find out you're right and they're wrong? Well, look at Joe Rogan now. He even said on his reaction, like, there are things like the lab leak that used to get you booted off of YouTube or deplatformed, right? Now it's known fucking fact. Wearing masks don't work. Used to be that get you deplatformed as well. Apparently now that might be in the news that it's verified. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not saying it if it is or not. But secondhand knowledge on that one, right? So there's all these instances where it was horrible and misinformation if you said something, and then it proved to be right. How many more of those do we have to have before people are like, you know what, maybe we shouldn't have censorship or, deplatforming somebody or misinformation when it technically is censorship. Nobody wanted to stand up for Alex Jones. Fuck, I don't like Alex Jones. But I'd stand up for the man because it's the same thing as bump stocks, right? People who don't own a bump stock don't give a shit about a bump stock, but it's not about the bump stock. It wasn't about Alex Jones. It's bigger than that. It's more important than that. So take some other, you're not monetized anymore? Or no, you never got monetized. That's right. You applied and never got it. Well, yeah, you started on YouTube at the wrong time. That's why. You're not going to get monetized. So at least you don't have to worry about that going away. But if you want to keep your channel, I'd still say maybe cool it on the COVID for a while. It's just good advice. All right, guys. Once again, thank you for showing up. I will be back on Friday over on the Green Dragon. I hope to see some of you guys there. Broken Patriot, thank you for being here. Gerald, you're awesome. Everybody who was here, we had Tony in here. We had Mule Team in here. We have Guns Coast to Coast, Bikes and Bullets. If I missed one of you, I'm sorry. Nugs was in here. Yeah, Mule Team. It was a good crowd. I look forward to seeing you guys next Wednesday. And if I don't see you next Wednesday, well, seeing you this Friday over on the Green Dragon. If I don't see you on the Green Dragon on Friday, I hope to see you on Wednesday next week. All right. Until later. Peace.